Hello, hello. Welcome back to Keys and Gears.
Howdy.
Mark and I, we accidentally have stumbled upon a bit of a racy subject for this time because we're getting tons of calls, and the question is we are exhausted with our house, or our house is not working for us.
Right.
We want to sell, we must sell, whatever that word is, but we feel bound, we feel in bondage, we feel handcuffed by our interest rate. 3.5, 3.87 or 4%, or oh my gosh.
How could we possibly afford this house?
How could we possibly
at 7% interest rates,
right?
Or 6.5, or whatever it is for you.
Well,
I
money man talk.
I struggle with that question because I understand where they're coming from, and nobody hates paying interest more than I do. I mean, honestly, interest is a necessary evil.
Unless it's in your savings account.
Yeah, that's income. That's interest income. Interest expenses are a necessary evil. So
fair enough. Or interest at a bar if you're single. I digress.
That's really where I start the conversation is I say to a couple like that. First of all, let's back up. I find in my conversations with current homeowners, most often when I call the wife or the husband and ask them, have you talked to your spouse about where you're going with this current home? Most of them say, we never talk about it. And I usually encourage them to say, hey, why don't you start the conversation with them to see where how do they feel? How do they feel about this house? How do they feel about this neighborhood? I have a lot of conversations about neighborhoods, not so much about the house.
Oh, interesting.
Right? And so asking the right questions, how do you feel about the neighborhood? Have you talked to your spouse about it? How do you feel about the school for your kid? Are you, especially the wives are thinking more along those lines, have you thought about moving your kid into a different school? Oh, I totally have. But we feel like we're handcuffed with this interest rate in this home because we feel like we can't afford the better school district. Well, let's talk about that, right? So, but really the conversation starts with, let's look at the overall debt load you have. Let's look at your credit cards that you're paying 30% on.
Oh, great insight there.
Let's look at the car loans that you're paying, 6, 7, 8, 9% on. If we eliminated these
by way of harvesting equity in this house that we feel like we are bound to.
Correct. By selling the home, using that equity to pay off that debt, how does the cash flow look? Meaning money coming into your account and out of your account. How does it look when you buy that next home in the better neighborhood, in the better school district? And oftentimes the calculation is even. So
Holy
they're substituting very high interest debt that costs them an arm and a leg versus investing in a home that's going to return money, not just cost money.
Right.
But actually make you money.
So I'm hearing you say that this interest rate that you feel is binding you
is actually hurting you.
It actually could be, by being okay with releasing that, it could actually truly set you free. Like set you free of the 27% interest rate, set you free of this. And plus elevating your everyday. If you're moving closer to your child's school, because 7 years ago they didn't need the school. Now they're in this particular school. They made it into a STEM academy or whatever it might be. Now your commute goes from 35 minutes each way to now to 10 minutes and all these things.
The lifestyle questions are the ones you need to ask.
Talking about freedom. Wow.
You, as a couple or as a homeowner, talk to whoever makes the decision with you about your lifestyle and how does this house currently fit into and the future lifestyle that we want to have. And a lot of times the answer is it doesn't fit. And so if your current debt load, including your current house payment at 3%, totals $5,000 a month, and you can substitute that with a $5,000 new house a month, but have
makes
no
you
other
smile
debts,
every day.
and have no other debts beside that $5,000 payment, what difference does it make?
It's a good trade.
So
in my humble opinion.
That's a no-brainer. It's
a
no-brainer, right? And so those are the questions I would be asking myself, as a homeowner is, how does this house, and yearly, I ask myself yearly, how does this fit into my lifestyle that I see in the next year, next 5 years? How does this fit in? And make a plan.
I love it. So
So-
you're recommending overall that living in bondage
It's not always the right thing.
is not the right thing.
No, I mean, there's lots of reasons to move. There's death, divorce, diapers,
All the Ds.
all the D's in real estate.
Duplication,
Right.
twins,
There's
triplets.
lots of reasons to move, and if you're solely fixated on not giving up your interest rate, a lot of times you make poor financial choices for the future.
You miss out on a more fulfilling lifestyle, perhaps.
And that's really what it's about. It's not about money. It's about how you live your life, right? And how much do you have left over? How much are you saving? How much are you wasting?
Are you living on your terms, or you're having it dictated to you?
A lot of people I talk to haven't even realized that their credit card interest rates went from 20% to 30%. They haven't even realized that until I bring it up, and I make them pull out their statement. And they're like, "Oh my God, I had no idea. I had no idea that the interest charge was that high. I need to get rid of this now." 100% agreed.
100%.
A $75,000 car is a $1,400 a month payment. $1,400. You could buy another house with that. You could buy
Shazam.
a condo, a rental condo, out in Waco or something, like in your college town, and rent it out and make $1,400 a month.
Redeploy that $1,500.
Exactly. In smarter ways. You know? So it's a lifestyle question. It's how does this
Lifestyle
house
question.
fit into our current lives and our financial plan? So,
I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Well, let me share with you, talking
Yes.
about current lives and changing lives, something I came across this week in East Dallas was, I think it's going to pop up shortly, this really cool picture that I took. It is right here. And I'm showing a picture of a condo, like you were just talking
Yeah,
about. They don't necessarily have a yard,
Okay.
but don't we all love green space?
Green, yeah.
Green space. So those of you, they're not sponsoring it, but like IKEA and other outlets have these. If you take the time to look, talking about taking time and thinking about just how you're living your life and
Right.
every day. We need some green. We need some outdoors. This is a really cool wall mount, and it's a planting shelf, but instead of being shelf as in horizontal, it's a shelf as in vertical, and it goes up the wall. And I've seen this idea used many different ways. We've all seen, like on Pinterest or Instagram, the
Yes.
green wall.
Yes.
And this one's pretty fantastic because it's very simple, easy. This is actually a mix of plastic plants and real plants, if you can tell.
good.
Like,
Yeah,
go back to your
yeah.
Sesame Street days. Which of
Yeah.
these does not belong? One of those four is actually a plastic plant, but the other three are real live goodies. And
Okay.
so
Very smart idea. Yeah.
isn't it great?
Yeah.
So going back to what you're always telling everyone, like don't say no, say how.
Money shouldn't be the only focus, right? It shouldn't
Right.
actually be the focus. Money is a byproduct of your lifestyle, right? So if you have a lifestyle that you enjoy, then you don't mind spending money. But
Right.
if you're spending money and you have a lifestyle you're not enjoying, you can get pretty unhappy.
You're gonna get happy.
And that's the conversations I have with people, is that they're not too happy about their current cash situation or how they're spending money, but they don't see a way out. How do I get out of this? They feel like they're in that rat race, right? They just keep working to pay off something they don't even like anymore.
Where do you get to where your money is growing green and you get to
Right.
sit and relax
Go outside
and
and
enjoy
go,
the
I'm
efforts?
so glad I did this.
So
right?
glad I did this.
Right.
So glad you're here today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Glad we're here together. What am I
know.
saying?
And this is, when you attach things to a condo, you got to be careful though, right? Legally.
Oh my
the
gosh, there you go, being
the
Mr. Practical.
HOA.
I'm trying to be all romantic and woo-woo, and you're like being practical.
But
very true. Very true
You got
about
to check
that.
with your HOA about what you can and cannot do, right,
Fair enough.
on a condo.
Fair enough. We'll save that for another
Yes,
condo chat for
Condo
another
chat.
another
There you
episode,
go.
perhaps. There
Maybe
you
we'll
go.
do that one next.
I love it. Thanks again for joining us today on Keys and Gears.
Welcome back. Hope to see you next time.
Absolutely. Bye.